Hello everyone, welcome to Netcode-Hub channel. I am Frederick, as you know already, and I'm very happy to meet you today. In this video, we are going to talk about how to consume JWT Authentication in .NET 8 Clean Architecture in Blazor WebAssembly. I have already made a video on how to implement JWT Authentication in .NET 8 Clean Architecture. And now this video is about consuming the authentication in Blazor WebAssembly. So if you know you haven't checked that video out, please kindly check the video description. It is there. Check it out. When I'm done with this, or when you are done, you and I, when we are done with this, I'm going to combine the two videos and I'll make it one for you. So check the video description too. It will be available, and that one is going to consist from start to finish. Before I dive right into this, make sure you have subscribed to this channel and hit on that notification bell to receive update as soon as I upload new content. I do offer coaching session to people who are interested in .NET technologies, talking about Blazor, Server, WebAssembly, Web API, Mari, Blazor Hybrid, and a lot. So if you're interested, check the video description. I have email in there. You can write to me through it. The source code of this project will also be available, so you can check the video description for it. So when you check what we did previously, we created these two endpoints in our controller, which is the register and our login. We register an account, and if I want to log in with the default settings, I can now retrieve the message, a flag, and then a token. This token comprises of the name, some claim that we set up, and now the name, the ID, yes, and then the email. So that's the composition of this token. So now we are going to consume this token, and after consuming this token, we try to get the claims from this token and set this to the application as a UI in the Blazor WebAssembly. Okay, so I'm going to close this, and then that is the project that we built. We're going to add a WebAssembly app. So click on New, then Add Project. And now with this, we are going to add Blazor WebAssembly. So we have WebAssembly in here. So that is the name, Blazor WebAssembly, to this. .NET 8 for authentication is none, because we have our own authentication system that we're going to implement. Click on Create to get this project created and added. Yeah, so this is ready. So when you check the solution, you can see that you have the WebAssembly in here, then you have your Web API. Okay, so in this, we need to build this project to update the dependencies to make this app complete. So let's update it. I'll click on this, and now let's build the project. So you can see that the project is succeeded. As you can see from here, it is built. Then we need to add the project reference. Right, click on dependencies, go to project references, and in here we're going to add the application layer. So let's click on OK to add this project. So after doing this, we need to create a service, whereby this service is going to be in the composition of interface and implementation. Now this service, we are going to use an HTTP client, and in that we're going to have a post as JSON async, so we can post to the controller endpoint that we created. And now within that endpoint, it has a model to return. We can return it as a general response or login response. And in that, we create our authentication state provider. We register it, and now we try to log in and set the claims. That is all that we need to do. A very simple one, okay? So let's start. We need to create our service first, and the service needs to be created in the application layer. So from this, we have our contract. We have our DTOs. We're going to add another folder to this, and maybe we can name this as services. So within this services folder, we're going to add another folder, and maybe this is going to be authentication. So let's create our interface in here. So interface, and now this is going to be iAccount. So that's an interface. And this should be public, as you know. Yes. So within these two methods, or within this interface, we need the two interfaces here. We need this register account async and also login account async. Now this needs general response, so this is coming from general response from the application layer. Let's check it out. So we go to the application layer, JWT, and here we have register response. So it's not general response. This is register. It is limited to registration. So this register response. Register or registration response. Yes. So in here we need a register user DTO, and that is the model. And for the login response to, we need a login DTO. Okay, so that's all we need. We need just two methods in here, very simple one. Okay, we then save this. We're going to create the interface, not implementation. So right click on the same services, authentication. Now let's add account service. And now this account service needs to inherit from iAccount. So let's implement the interfaces in here. We need to create constructor, CTOR. Now in that, this must be public, and I believe by now you know this. Let's inject our HTTP client. Create an instance of this, control period. Let's create an assigned field. We can also use primary constructor, but for now we are not working on that. Let's keep going. Okay, so login account, we're going to make a post. So we say var response is equal to await HTTP client. So this HTTP client, this client. Yeah, so let me copy this. Dot, then it's post as JSON async, and in here we need to specify API, and that authentication slash login. Is it login account or just login? So you can just cross check from here from the API controller. That is the user, even authentication is user. So you see that's user login. Okay. So it is user and just login. So from that we pass in the model. So let's get the response. So this could be results. Now since you want to grab it not in an in a string format, we want to grab it in the model format. Okay, so we need to convert this, and here we can talk of dot read from JSON async. Then let's specify the response type. The response type here, it is login response, and at the end we can return results. We're going to do same, so I'm going to copy this. Then inside the registration, I'm going to paste this one. This must be an async, and I want to check the controller. So when you check this controller, this must be user controller. Okay, so user controller, and when you check in here, you can see that we have user/register. So let's go in there and do same. So user/register, then passing a model, and now here it is returning a registration response. And that is all that we need to do in a very simple one. Copy and paste. Okay, so we are done with our service. We have to register the service. So we're going to consume this. Let's go to the Blazor app, and here you have the Blazor WebAssembly, and that is in over here from the program.cs. We can now register this here. Then that is an I account, and this is account service. Okay, so now that this is done, we can now log in. We can register because we've created the endpoint, and also we have a service whereby we inject an HTTP client to make a request. Now, when we receive it, we are returning. When we return, we need to return to the authentication state provider. So you must create an instance of the auth state provider, and we can name it any name at all that you feel you want to give it today. Okay, so but I'm going to give mine as custom authentication state provider, so that as soon as you get the source code, you know what you're going for. Okay, what it means. So we're going to create a class for that, and this class, I'm going to make it related, specifically related to the app. So in here, from the web app or the Blazor WebAssembly, I'm going to create a folder, and I name this as states. So with this state, I need to add a class. Now this class is going to be custom authentication state provider. So this class needs to inherit from authentication state provider. But since we haven't installed it, so we need to do that. We need to install Microsoft.ASP.core.component.authorization. So let's wait and install this package. Yeah, so this has been installed, and now here this is an abstract, so we need to implement the class. So we have this in here. We would also need to save the token somewhere, so that anytime that I want to make a request, we add the token to the header. Okay, so in that we can use cookie storage. We can use local storage. So for now, let's use the local storage. And in order to use the local storage, we can use a package created by Crescenti, and that's the Blazor.local storage. So let's also install this package, and right click on the Blazor WebAssembly dependencies, and then you get packages, and here you're going to install Blazor.local storage. So that is this by Crescenti. Click on and install. Okay, so this is done. Let's register the service. So it's gonna be builder.services.add Blazor local storage. Let's see for Blazor local storage. So .add Blazor local storage. Yeah, so we add the service, and we are good to go. Okay, so in the custom, we first need to create an instance of identity user, and we're going to be null for default one. So let's create a claim principal, and now within this we need to, for this we need to create a constructor and inject our local storage. local storage service. So create this an assigned field, and we can just create a key here. So private constant string, so local storage key, this is Auth. So here, when the app gets loaded, the first time this method gets called, we want to retrieve the local storage. So let's say this is going to be string, say token is equal to await local storage dot get item as string async. Then we pass in the local storage key. So we can now check this must be an async task. Okay, so while you have in this, now check. So here we can check here, so not even await. If string dot is null or empty, then we're going to find the token that you want to return. Authentication task from results. Then we pass in this one, anonymous. That is the instance that we created here. It means the user is not registered. So if token is not null, then we want to get all the claims. So let's have public or private, and this could return. Let's create a model for this. We want to return the name and now the email, isn't it? So maybe we can have task. This is string. We want name and our email. So here we can say get claims, and now you pass in the token. So within this, we need to now check if user or if this is equal to null. So string dot is null or empty, pass in the token that you want to return null. So in case it is not null, then we want to check the token. So let's get our claims. So this package, we need to install system.identity.models. Let's find the latest version and install. And now we need to pass in this token. Okay, so let's add in here JWT token. Then we get our token in here. Okay, now within the token, we want to get maybe user ID. We want to get only username and email. So we can extract the claims from this. We get the name, we get the email, and at the end we are going to return. We need to return this. Return the first one is name, and I return email. Okay, you can make this as static. Then when you come here, we're gonna say that var, we can use tuple. So we're gonna say name and email is equal to, and here we call the method as get claims. We pass in the token. We have our claims here. So we can check if name, we've checked here already, or we can check if string.name is empty or string dot is null or empty. Talking about the email, then maybe we can have in our mind of return the same thing. So we can grab this and now paste it here. Although it won't be null, but let's check. Okay. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to do here is, after we get our claims, we need to set the claim. So how do we set the claims? So we can now create a simple method, another method here. Then we check, we get the claim principal, set the claim, return the name and the email. If they are now, return this new. In case they are not, then set the claims type to name and I'll pass in the value. So in here, we're going to return. So we can say that var claims is equal to, then set claim, then pass in this name and email. Okay, so here we can say that if string.empty2, we are still going to check. So claims, so you can have claims dot. So here we can have, we're going to retrieve the user claim. So here, this is what we can do. We can say that if claims is null, then we want to return same, although it won't be null, but we're going to return. But in case it is not, then we're now going to set the claim. Then in here we need to, so we can include this else. Then we want to return type from result. Then we pass in the claim that we retrieve from here. We save it. So all that you're doing here is we get the token from the local storage. We make sure it is not null. If it is not null, we want to get all the claims, that is an email and password. Not the email and password, email and name. When we get the email and name, we want to set the claims. We pass in the same parameters, and now we return from the claim that we have in here to this authentication state. Okay, now we have this done. What if in case I want to log in for the first time, I need to now set the claims and also set the token to the local storage. So let's have a method to also handle that. And there's going to be maybe public async task, and let me call this update authentication states. And now within this, I'm going to pass in string token. I like to use JWT token. Let me be specific here. Okay, so in here I'm going to check. So if string dot is null or empty, talking about the JWT token, what do I want to do? I want to make sure if this is not null or empty, but in case it is, what do I need to do? Then I'm going to use await local storage dot remove item async, and now I need local storage key. Okay, so when I'm done, what I need to do here is I have to notify the app to re-render, and in that I can use this simple method to do that. What I need to do here is I need to create claims in here. So let's say I have a claim on top, so there's going to be claims. So I initialize it in here beautifully. Now in case we have this, then I need to get the claim. So I'm going to say so var, and I need name and email. Then I'm going to say it's equal to get claims. I'll just call this method and pass in JWT token in case I get this. So if string.empty dot is not for this name, or string.empty dot is null or empty. Okay, so if this, then I want to return, you see, but in case it is not, then this is what I want to do. I want to now get claims. So once here I get the claims, I need to now set it. So how do I set it? It's the same method in here, so set claims. So I need to copy this. So I'm going to say set claims is equal to, then I call this method, and I need to specify in the name and now the email. Okay, so this can be the next line. And now here, so if set claim is null, then I want to return as well. But this, it won't be null. We are checking. Okay, else, what do? We notify this and I pass in the claim that we have in here. In case this is also null, claims is also null. I'm going to pass in here. And now when claims is null, it means the token is also going to be null. And if the token is null, then it tells you that here we're going to return anonymous. Anonymous is a new instance of the claim identity, and it tells the user that hey, you're not registered, so you need to register. Okay, so that's all that we need to do in here. Okay, so now let's save this. Let's go to the web assembly. Now from the pages, you need to create pages in here. That's the form. So with this, you're going to install a package created by Netcode-Hub myself, and let's use that, okay? Because they're floating div, and we can use that to use in an edit form for the login and now registration. So we can do that from the WebAssembly. Right click on dependencies, go to manage NuGet packages, and in here just type in Netcode-Hub, and now we need component the validations this package. So let's install this. The current version is 1.0.1 as I speak. Maybe there will be a future update which will move to 1.0.2. So let's see, for this we install. After this successfully installed, we can check from the dependencies packages, and like you see we have it in here. Okay, let's go to our page. From the pages folder, we can now create a login page here, and now let's call this as login page. The route of this app is going to be login. Okay, so in here we can have, okay, so we have our login. Let's include a namespace, so at netcode, and this will be using, so at using Netcode-Hub dot packages so dot components dot validations dot on input. Now in here we can straight ahead, so let's have our div class. Now let's say this is row. We're going to have the closing, then in here we have our div class again, and this is column lg5. Okay, so in here we need to have the floating test, and now with the floating test, maybe we can specify this. I want us to use, let's close like this. Now get rid of this. Okay, so we need label, and now this label this is going to be, this is login. So we have our email address. We can have a placeholder, and maybe John Doe at mail.com. That's a placeholder. Okay, aside from that, you can specify the type in here. The type is email address. Then we need a password, so we're going to use same. Label is going to be password, and we don't want to have a placeholder here. The type is password. You see, this is very simple, isn't it? Yes, very simple. Then we have our button. So we can also have class in here, and this is form control. We can have MB3 class as form control, MB3. Then in here we can have our edit form, and our edit form we can have the model as maybe login model, unvalid submit. You want to say login async. So here we have our data annotations by data, and now we go in and add these two forms. Okay, aside from it, we can have our button, and this button we have the class as btn, so btn primary, and so the type of this button is just submit login. Okay, so that's all that we need to do. We can decide to add a validation message, or we can use a validation summary. So maybe down here we can add a summary. So MB3, then down we can use the summary. Okay, and now here we can have test danger and list style or test declaration as none. That's one. You can actually format this. Okay, now once we have this simple form, when you come here we need to create a method to this. So you're going to say async task login, and also login model. So you must have a login DTO, and this coming from this. We say login model is equal to new. So we have this set. Okay. Now here, the service that we created and registered, we can inject it. So in order to do that, go to the import.razor, and maybe in here we can talk about using, not using. Let's inject I account. Then we say this is account service. Now this account service, we can just grab this. We go to the login page, and now here we say results is equal to await account service dot login async, passing this login model. Now the response, we can check if results dot flag, that is true. That is where you want to specify this. What you want to do, you want to update the custom auth state. So you want to call this method, and I'm passing the token. Okay. So let's go to the import, and maybe in here we can inject the authentication state provider that we created. So this is the default one, not the one that we created. Sorry, I don't want to confuse you. This is the default one that we inherited from. It is not what we created. Now let's go to, we say this auth state provider. We go to the login, And now in the login, we can just call a simple method to actually do that. So we can use, if the response is true, we create a custom auth state, then we're going to use a custom auth state provider that we created from the state folder. Then in here, we pass in result.token. Then at the end, we want to navigate. But before we do that, we have to inject nav manager. So here, maybe we can put that in the import, and we can say that use this nav manager. When you go to login, nav manager to navigate to the login. That's the home page. Okay. Then we have false to true, so it can check for the authentication state of the user. Okay, so that's all that we need to do in here. In case it is false, maybe we can have a string message. So this is equal to string.empty. So when the page starts to load, we can say this is equal to null. And in case you have any issue, that is else, then we want to say that message is equal to results.message. And now we need to display this. So maybe on top here, we can display this message. Okay, so maybe here, you can have span or div. And this will be alerts, alert info. And let's display the message on top here. We say MB is 3. Okay, so we have this. Now let's try to log in and see. But before we log in, we have to configure CORS. Since we are connecting from one port to another port, we need to configure CORS. So let's save this. Let's go to the solution from the API. Where is it? This is the API, right? So go to properties, line settings, and in there, have you seen this HTTPS? There's a port, so we're going to grab this. We go back to the WebAssembly. From here, where is it? Have you found yours? Okay, program.cs file. And now from the base URI, we're going to remove all this. We don't need this anymore. Let's pass in this. Save it. And let's use cascading auth states. So add cascading auth states. Now when you add this, you can decide not to surround the route with the cascading authentication states, okay, because this is the service that you're adding, and it works the same. I think so. Yes. Now let's go to the API. Program.cs file. We need to add CORS, so we can add CORS to app.use CORS CORS cross origin resource sharing. Okay, now with this CORS, we need to specify some things in it. So we can just remove this and I replace this one. And here, I don't need this. We don't need it. Okay, so you want to allow header, I want to allow methods, and so here we're going to change it with the port of the client. So from the dependencies, from line settings, we have this as 7044. This is not the talking about WebAssembly. So WebAssembly, where is this one? It's here, yes. And now we're going for the HTTPS 7270. Grab that, go to the program, and in here, paste it. Okay, save this. And I think everything is alright. Everything's gonna be fine. What do you think? Are we missing something? As soon as you successfully log in, we have to get the token set to the local storage. Okay, let's try this out and see. So Blazor assembly, run this. and I'm going to run the API too. So you run both projects. You can use set multiple projects as startup and run together, or you do what I'm doing. Choose one that you want and follow it. Okay, so we wait for the client. There's a client, and where is our API? Let's wait for the API. API 2 is in here, and that is it. Okay, we have an error here. Let's go to inspect and check it out. No service for this Auth provider has been registered. Yes, I knew it. So we go to the program, and now we need to register this. So builder.services.add scope. Then here we need to add authentication state provider, and let's add a custom Auth state provider. Let's rerun this up. Alright, so it is ready. And this I'm going to do, let's navigate to login. Let me right click and go to inspect and check if after a call is being made. Whoa, we have an error here. Let's check it out. So required value for this. We did not. Yes, I believe you did the necessary corrections, isn't it? You go to the login page and we did not bind. Yes, see, we did not bind it. And here you need this at bind value, and this is login model dot email, and now the same thing applies to this at bind value login model dot password. All set and done. So this is ready again. Right click on inspect elements. We go and check for a call. Now here you must have a call being made here. We have to see it here. And also when we check the application and check the local storage, we have to see the token with the key known as Auth, and you have to get it here. Well, let's check it out. So let's go to and the route is login. So we are in, and now let's have user at example.com. The password is user at 123. I think so, because when we check the API, login, try this out. Okay, so it is string, and the user at example.com, and the password is string. Okay, so this is string. Now let's click on this. Now let's see. Login, a call has to be made, and now here, yes. So you can see now the app has reloaded. Let's check from app, but we did not see the key. You see, we did not see the key. So although we logged in, but we haven't seen the key in be set. Let's check the Auth state. So from here, after we set it, we need to set this to the local storage. So you're going to say await local storage service dot set token, and now what you need to provide the key, local storage key and the token itself. That's all we need to do. We missed this out. It is not just token, it is rather JWT token. Okay, let's reload this and check it out again. Now let's go to inspect, and now we're going to the same place. That's the application. So we check this application from this end. We make sure we have local storage open. Currently it is blank, it's empty. Okay, so let's navigate to, that's a login. Now once you log in, please do check here and see whether you're going to have a key being stored. Now you have an email set already, credentials. Yes, we have it. Up. Yes, that is this one. Have you seen? So this working now, we are logged in. So how do we get the user? Maybe you want to display the name or the email here. Is it possible? Yes, of course. Quickly we can do that here. Let's go to the routes, and this is going to be the main layout. And now here maybe you can display button. So this is going to be, instead of this about, you're going to say logout. And now with this logout, it's going to be, let's actually create a page for that. So this is logout. Okay, and this should be okay. Let's maintain it. Let's also have one, and let's also display. So we're going to have this, and this is going to display the name. So you know this is going to be for authorize. So if you authorize, that is only when you see this. But in case you are not, then you know what it means. So this, what do you think this will be here, isn't it? We also going to have at contest dot user dot identity dot name. You want to display that. Okay. And in here, I think it's better that we put this in a span. Then let's have class test muted, maybe margin 2, etc. Okay. You can have maybe ml2, mr2. We have our contest, so we want to display the name. Then we have our logout. So when this is clicked, you're going to logout page. In case you are not, then you want to have this. If it is not login, then it is register. And now we're going to log in. And now this, we're going to register. You see that? So when you check the login, we don't have register yet, but soon you're going to have it soon. Okay, now let's save all this. Let's see if the page will reload itself. If not, then we do it manually. Now we know that we have this working. We can close this. Let's reload it ourselves. We have an issue here. Let's check this issue out. Okay, so we need to add authorization call. No. And this could come from the program.cs file. This solves the problem. So /login. And for now, we are logged in, so you have logout. You see that? Oh, we must separate this. There must be a space. There must be a space. So login, that's the main layout. That's where there must be a space here. Okay. So maybe this is what we can do. Let's set the margin to 2. And maybe padding to also 2. So we can have a separation from logout and this name. You see that? But I think we've done it. So now if I click on logout, nothing happens. So you can see now we are logged in. We have the name in here, and we have this. We can also display the email if you want to do that. Let's see. So maybe once you have this, if you want to display the email, store at context.user.identity. Do you have email? No, we don't. So we need to use claims. So .claims here, .first or default. Then where claims max to claims.type is equal to claim types. And this is coming from email. So claim types dot, we have to do it well. Okay. So claim types dot email. We want to grab the value. So we're going to have the email, and we're going to have the password. Why I keep saying password? We're going to have the email and the name. Okay. In this. So yeah, so this is going to display us, display the email to us. We're going to have the name on top. We're going to have the email in this bracket. Okay, now let's work on the logouts. So if I click on logout, it is going to logout component. So in here, we can just create a logout. And this will be logout. So on top here, we have to specify the route. And that is logout. When the page initializes, so we can use override on initialized async. We want to go to login. And now within this login, we're going to copy this. We go to a logout page and now add it here. So instead of passing the token, passing null. So we need to include the state reference. This must be an async, and that is all. Okay, now let's work on the registration. We need to check the registration component or the registration DTO. What are the things that we need? So registration DTO, we need just email, name, email, and password, and confirm password. So let's go to the pages. Let's add the components here, and this is register page. Now within this, you can go to login, grab everything here, and now come here and now paste this. All that we need to do here is change this to register. And also, this is not login async. Register async. This is not login modal. Register modal. we need to include name, email. So let's add one to this. Let's add one to this for confirm password. You see? So this is going to be password, and now here is going to be confirm password. We can add confirm to this password. This is name, and now we can just type in full name. So example is John Doe, so we can have this as an example, and the type is test. That's all that we need to do. It's very simple one. So what you should do here is register model. We have to replace it with this one, and that is all. When you come here, instead of the DTO login, we have register DTO. So we have to just replace this here, and now we copy this into this. This is not login, it is register account async. So if this is true, we want to navigate to login. So go to login. In case it is not, so you're going to say that if this is false, this is what you want to do, or we can check if it's true. Okay, so now that we have this, then we can use this else and then get rid of this. If it's true, navigate to login. If it is false, display the message. Okay, just save this. Let's close this and open it again. Yes, and there's no error in here. Just that we need to include the DTO, register DTO or registration DTO. Want to check it is register user DTO. So where is the register? Let's go to solution, register page, and we use this. That is all we need to do. Very simple one. You see? Now let's have a method for this. Register async, and now that's all. Okay, so let's run this and check it out. Yeah, so you can see that we have it here. We have the name, we have the email in here. So we are logged in. Yes. Now if I click on log out, see what happens. So we out. Right click on this. Let's check the local storage and see. You can see we have login and register. If I need to check the local storage, do you have anything? Any token? Let's have a look. Oh, now there's nothing there. Yeah, it is off. So when you click on login, maybe register, you're into the page, you can register. Okay, let's try one and see. So I'm going to say this is Netcode-Hub. Then email is admin@gmail.com. Let's say password is admin@123. So it's admin@123. One thing about this is, using this floating text by Netcode-Hub, it does the validation progressively. So once you type, it does the validation. So let's check it out. We have to get a call and a response from an API. So let's say from the network tab, click on change it. So that's your tag, change it. So you can see register and our registration completed, right? So we are in here, and I want to check this. You can see that we have let's see the payload. That's the payload. Let's see the response. There's a response. Okay, so it's through, registration completed. Now I go to login. That's fine. Let's log in and see. Now we want to use this admin. Click on login. Yeah, so we have it being rendered. And let's see, are we going to have Netcode-Hub /admin as Gmail or email? Yes, we have. And we are in. Okay. So the next thing is, how do you make a call with this? You know, this is getting it from, not the API. You want to get it from the API. And the token that we have received, we want to add this token to the header so we can make a call. Because when you check here, check this. If I click on get this, try this out, without specifying, say, 401, because there's no token attached to the header. So first of all, let's call that, okay? And now the route of this, you're calling from the web API. Let's say from, we go to this. And now in here, from the Blazor WebAssembly, from weather forecast, not the weather forecast, weather.razor, we have HTTP client injected. And now here, we are not calling the file. We are not calling, oh, go back. Where is the weather? Is missing. Okay, so you see, let me go back again and check it out. So when you see here, we have HTTP client injected. It looks like you are calling from an API, but we are not. It's just a static file. So we're going to remove this. And let's check the route of this. Not this one, the API. And now here, we can copy this. Go back. And now paste this here. Okay, so 7044 as a port, weather forecast. We want to get this. Now with this, let's try and see. We must have the 401. Although we are logged in, we can click on this, inspect. Let's go to Network tab. Click on this. We have an error. Yes, I know. What is the status code? 401. You see that? It means we do not have access to this because the call that was made does not have a header. Not actually any header. Okay, talking about authorization header. Check here and see. Check the call from the header. You can see that from here, there is a response. Check the request. We don't have any authorization. You see this? And there's no token also added. So that's the reason why we did not get this. Let's create this. So now to do this, first we need to inject. We have a local storage injected already. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to say that string token equal to await local storage service. Okay, so we have to inject a local storage here. Maybe you can just move it to the you can move it to the import.razor to inject it once and use it multiple or 3 application. But for now, let's use this. So inject local storage. And this is coming from Blazor.local storage. Then let's give it an instance of local storage service. So now we grab this, and here we say local storage service dot get item as string. What is the name here? Let's pass in that is an auth. Okay. So when we have this, what you're going to do here is you're going to say HTTP client dot default request header dot authorization is equal to new system.net.http.header.authorization header value. Okay, so in here we need to specify the schema, and the schema is bearer. Aside from specifying the schema, what do you do again? What is a parameter? And that is a token. This is all that we need to do. So this is very simple, isn't it? Yes. Now let's save this, let's rerun this and check it out. Okay, so this is ready again. Let's go to inspect element, and in here from the call that we're going to make, let's see, counter home, click on that forecast. Just now we have it. Now check it out. You can see the status code is 200. It is fetch type, and now if I click on this, you can see now we have authorization header. This is the schema or the scheme, that is what the bearer, that's a parameter, that's a token. So the call is being made once you have the token attached to the header. That is all. Thank you so much for watching, and I think you've learned something here as well. The source code of this project will be available. After that, I'm going to combine the implementing JWT in client architecture with consuming authentication in Blazor WebAssembly. I'll put it together as one video, and I also put it here. So check the video description. I'm going to catch you up again. Till then, take care.